Alright everyone, welcome to the Week 1 Winter League ESL recap or review, whatever you want to call it. In this show we're just basically going to go over the groups, how they are, everything that they've accomplished so far in Week 1, how the groups are currently standing and what they look like. We'll go over again what the teams are playing in Week 2 and their outlook, how they may perform, and what teams could potentially come after Week 2 could potentially come to the playoffs. So we'll go into that right now if we look at this overlay. So as you can see over here in Group A, Rogue Heat, Nefast, Kimya, and Vectiz. Rogue Heat and Nefast there are sitting 1-0 with the other two being 0 and 1. So Rogue Heat just straight up 3-0'd Kimya. I mean, Rogue Heat was one of the 4 favored teams that we didn't think they'd have any problem making it to the playoffs, so they're staying on that path, they're not deviating from it, which is a trend we've seen throughout the other groups too. The surprise here is Nefast, Kimya, and Vectiz. Earlier I stated in the first preview show that these 3 teams, it's really who knows who's going to come out on top with these 3 teams. If it could have been Kimya, Vectiz going 1-0 this week, we didn't really know. And I said that it would come down to these 3 teams would have to battle it out to figure out which team would take the top 2 spot in Group A. And here we have Nefast. They 3-0'd Vectiz. Very convincing landslide victory right there. So really, it's going to be up to Kimya and Kimya to upset Nefast and Vectiz in Week 2 and Week 3. Vectiz does play Nefast, but we'll talk about that later. So Group A is going as planned for Rogue Heat, but it's very interesting how it's developing out for Nefast, Kimya, and Vectiz. So hopping over to Group B, we have Siren, Global, Hollows, and Wondink. Global, just 3-0'd Hollows. I don't think anyone expected anything different. Hollows only managed to win 5 rounds total in 3 maps. So yeah, just a devastating loss there for Hollows. Siren though, and Wondink, they were the other matchup. Very interesting dynamic that happened here. Siren actually won 3-1. Siren beat Wondink on Cannon, which was Wondink's pick. They beat them on India and Hammerblow. Wondink was only able to win Black Scent. So yeah, I went to a 4th map, not quite a 5th map that Wondink probably had hoped for. But yeah, very interesting that actually happened, because Wondink is our only NA team, and if they grow out, we'll have no NA team in the playoffs. And I was predicting Wondink to do very well, come top 2, not really having a contest against Siren, but Siren just surprised me. They've surprised a lot of people with how easily they disposed of Wondink there. And now it's really Wondink is in the hot seat, because they're going to have to play... Who are they going to have to play? Yeah, they're going to have to play Global Week 2. Yeah, sorry, they're actually named Gorgeous now. I don't know where that team name came from. If you want to know, go read the interview. So they're going to have to play Global, and if they don't beat Global, they're not going to have a spot to, at best they could tie in the 3rd week with another team and then have to do a tiebreaker. So it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out there for Wondink. Hollows, it's going to be very difficult for them this week. They play Siren. So that's Group B currently right now. Siren Global just being both 1-0. Over on Group C, we have Fire Pizza, Ewok, Thugs in Pajamas, and Go Mayhem. Fire Pizza, again, one of those favorite teams that we don't think they're going to have any problems getting to the playoffs. Will come top 2 for sure out of the groups. So Fire Pizza, 3-0 Thugs and PJs. Again, I don't think there was more than 10. I don't think Thugs and PJs got more than 5 rounds a half. Don't quote me on that. It should be in the article that I wrote, but I don't remember quite yet. And then the real surprise here was Go Mayhem versus Ewok. Ewok 3-0'd Go Mayhem. Go Mayhem is now known Hookers or something to that effect. Yeah, so it was just a straight up 3-0, and Go Mayhem couldn't put up any fight. They didn't win a single... I think they may have won 1 half. But yeah, just Ewok just completely annihilated them. Chuck was doing an amazing job for Ewok. He stepped up amazingly well. And that's where we see Fire Pizza and Ewok both going 1-0. With Thugs and PJs and Go Mayhem, it's going to be tough for them to win throughout the rest of the week here. But then we have Group D. We have Twix, Celsia, Day Esport, and Venture. Celsia, Twix, each winning their games. Celsia 3-0'd Day Esport. Same story as Global beating out Hollows there. I mean, 30 to like 11 rounds, I believe. So Day Esport just got annihilated there. The real interesting, probably the best match of this week was the match that went best of 5. It was Twix versus Venture. Went to a 5th map, and Twix was able to actually win that final map and make it 3-2. Very close series. Not a lot that we can take away from this game because it was so close. Yeah, Twix came out on top, but I'd like to see if these teams ever met up again. How they would play in a best of 3 or another best of 5 even as that. So yeah, Twix, Celsius are both leading the groups here for the week. Alright, so let's talk about who they're going to have to play for the coming week. Group A, it's going to be Roka versus Vectez, and then Nefast EU versus Kimia. So Roka versus Vectez, Roka should have no problem here. If they do, then that's a whole discussion show we need to have just about Roka Heat. But Nefast EU and Kimia, that's really going to dictate if Kimia has any chance of making it out of the group or not. If they can beat Nefast, they can potentially tie, or they can even come second. If Nefast can beat Kimia, I don't think it's possible for them to tie anyone except for maybe Roka Heat. If they can beat Kimia, they're going to come second in the group for sure. So that's really an interesting match you guys need to watch out for. Siren versus... Oh, sorry, Group B now that we're in here. That's going to be Siren going up against Hollows. So Siren and Hollows, I mean, Siren, they trounced one Dink. Hollows got trounced by Global. Logically, Siren should be able to beat Hollows. So unless Hollows, their style is just the complete counter to Siren, that's the only way they're going to win. Hollows doesn't have the aim that I saw from Global unless they've been practicing a lot. They change up the guns that they're using or something to that effect. They won't have the firing power, the clutch potential to take out Siren. I was watching, I was looking at the Moss screenshots and stuff like that, and Hollows did have some strats, but it's kind of hard to tell because they were just Moss screenshots. But Hollows, I mean, they looked like they practiced as a team, but Siren just has that individual skill, and being a team can only take you so far. Global versus Gorgeous, aka One Dink. Looking forward to this game. Hopefully we can stream it. NA versus EU. Best NA team against best EU, even though that's kind of disingenuous with how poor NA is compared to EU now. But still, that should be a great game. Looking forward to it. Gorgeous. I mean, Studlock, he went crazy in some of his games that we've seen in some of the other ESL Cups. Hopefully Global can, prepare for that and just give us an entertaining game. Lots of highlights. Yeah, so that's Group B. Group C, we're going to have Fire Pizza versus Hookers, so that's Go Mayhem there. Fire Pizza, I think they're the team that could get upset most likely by one of these teams. Go Mayhem, if they practice, and they learn how to play as a team and they have some good gun skill, potentially could take a map or two off of Fire Pizza. It's hard to say that Fire Pizza will lose more, like lose a 2-3, even a 1-3 doesn't even seem plausible. But Hookers, I'm gonna say Fire Pizza. It should be their map. Their maps actually. They have all these experienced players like Zek, Mystique, and Mangos too. I mean, they know all the maps. In best of 5, they clearly have an advantage there against just Hookers. So I'm going to definitely say Fire Pizza there. But interesting game if Go Mayhem can actually step back up and just take a map from Fire Pizza. Show that they've actually been trying to practice a little bit. E-Rock Core versus Thugs and PJs. So E-Rock Core surprised us against Hookers or Go Mayhem. Can they repeat their performance? Was it just luck? That's kind of the question here against Slugs and PJs. Slugs and PJs, really haven't seen them perform against any other team except for a top team. So I guess they are kind of a wild card. They could take this series from Evo Core. Another match we just need to pay a lot of attention to see how it turns out. Is it going to be a 3-2 or a 3-1? Maybe even a 3-0. Continuing that trend, as most of the games last week were a 3-0. So then we have Group D. Celsius versus Twix. Twix is actually the team that won their game week 1. Celsius won theirs, of course. So both winning teams are going to play against each other. I think that's the only group where the two winners are playing against each other. Yeah, it is. So I'm excited to see if Twix can take 1 or 2 maps off of Celsius, force Celsius to maybe a 5th map or something to that effect. That'll be interesting to see. But Celsia, they look just as strong as Global right now. If anyone watched that best of three grand final for the Tuesday Cups, yeah, Supply was the only map they won, but still, Celsia is looking very strong. And then we have Day Esport taking on Venture. Excited to see how this is going to turn out, as this could dictate a potential tie if one of these teams plays against Twix later on and potentially beats them out. So I think that's Day that will have to play in week 3 for Twix. So if Day can beat Venture, then there is a potential for a tie there if Twix loses to Celsia or Celsia loses to Twix, or if Venture can beat Day Esport in that case. So yeah, there's about 4 really exciting games we should all be watching this week. Of course, you have to watch Global and Celsia. You should be watching Twix, Fire Pizza as well, and Roca Heat. Gotta support those teams. But yeah, have to watch that Siren game. Have to watch the Venture Day Esport game at Thugs and Pajamas versus Eva Core. Have to tune into Nefast and Kimya. Don't miss those games. We have an article that I wrote on the website that details all of week 1, all that fun stuff. No article for the predictions or the overview of week 2. Just no time for that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little update on the Winter League. Make sure you guys still tune into the live stream. Subscribe to us on our YouTube channel for more content like this. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter to get notified. And of course, follow us on twitch.tv's CGO Media. And we'll see you guys next week.